I am 78 years old. 6 years ago, my heart stopped. And lying in that hospital bed, I realized something that destroyed me. The life I had been saving for later, I had already lived it. There was no later. There had never been a later. There was only all the time I spent getting ready to start living. The doctors said I was lucky. Lucky. I had just spent 72 years building a life I was too busy to live. Now I need you to understand something before I go any further. I am not here to scare you. I am not here to give you a list of things to do. I am here because I spent 72 years believing something that turned out to be completely wrong. And I see you believing the same thing right now. The lie is this, that you have time. Not later, not eventually. Right now, today, you are telling yourself a version of this lie. When things slow down, I will call my mother more. When this project is done, I will take that trip. When I have more money, more time, more energy, then I will finally start living the way I want to live. I know, because I said every single one of those things for decades. And the terrifying part? The project never ended. Things never slowed down. The money was never quite enough. There was always one more reason to wait. I was 34 years old when my son was born. I remember standing in the hospital holding him, thinking, this changes everything. And it did change things for about 3 weeks. Then I was back at work, longer hours than before, because now I had a family to provide for. That is what I told myself. I am doing this for them. My son is 44 now. He is a good man. He has his own family. And a few years ago, over dinner, he said something that hit me so hard, I had to look away. He said, "Dad, I know you worked hard for us, but when I was growing up, I used to wonder if you actually liked being home." He did not say it to hurt me. He said it gently, like it was just an observation. But those words went straight through me. Because he was right. I was there, but I was not there. My body was in the house, but my mind was always somewhere else. Always on the next deal, the next problem, the next thing that needed my attention. My son grew up with a father who was physically present and emotionally somewhere else entirely. You cannot get that back. That is the part nobody tells you. You think presence is something you can schedule, that you can catch up on, that you can make up for later. You cannot. Those years are gone. The window closed. Here is what I have learned about time. And I mean really learned. Not just understood intellectually, but felt in my body, in my bones. Time does not feel like it is running out, until suddenly it does. When you are 30, you feel like you have an unlimited supply. When you are 40, you start to notice things. When you are 50, you can feel the acceleration. And when you are lying in a hospital bed at 72, wondering if you are going to wake up tomorrow, the weight of every wasted hour lands on you, all at once. I lay there thinking about the Sundays I spent working instead of being with my kids. The weekends I was at the office when my wife wanted to travel. The conversations I cut short. The moments I half participated in. I thought about my father. He died when I was 58. We never had the honest conversation I always told myself we would have, someday. I kept waiting for the right time. The right time never came. He got sick, and then he was gone. And everything I wanted to say to him, I never said. That is the weight I am talking about. Not the big failures, the quiet ones. All the love you saved for later. All the moments you were too busy to be in. After the heart attack, I changed. Not all at once. Slowly. And then more deliberately. I stopped going into the office on weekends. People thought I was losing my edge. Maybe I was. I did not care anymore. I started calling my son every Sunday. Not because I had something to say, just to talk, to hear his voice. Those calls changed our relationship in ways I did not expect. He started calling me back in the middle of the week, just to tell me something that happened. That never happened before. I took my wife to Italy. We had talked about going for 30 years. 30 years. We had the money. We always had the money. I just never made the time. We went for 3 weeks. It was the best 3 weeks of my life. I would have traded 10 years of career success for 3 weeks like that. And I did not understand that until I was 73 years old. I started saying the things I had been saving. I told my daughter she was the bravest person I knew. I told my son I was sorry for the years I was not really there. I told my wife that every good thing in my life had her fingerprints on it. These were not dramatic conversations. They were quiet ones. But they mattered in a way that nothing on my resume ever did. Let me ask you something, and I want you to sit with this before you move on. If you found out today that you had 5 years left to live, what would you change? Would you still be spending your Sunday evenings answering emails? Would you still be putting off that trip? Would you still be waiting for the right moment to tell your parents what they mean to you? I know what most people do with that question. They think about it for a second, feel a small, uncomfortable feeling, and then they close it out and go back to what they were doing. Because engaging with it seriously means admitting that you are, right now, living in a way that does not match what you actually value. That is too uncomfortable. So most people do not. But here is the thing. You do not know that you have 5 years. You might have 5 years. You might have 50. You might have 5 months. None of us know. That uncertainty is not meant to terrify you. It is meant to clarify you. I want to talk about regret for a moment, because I think people misunderstand what regret actually feels like. People think regret is dramatic, that you lie awake in anguish over the big decisions. But the real weight of regret is not dramatic at all. It is quiet. It is small. It accumulates slowly, like dust. I do not lie awake thinking about failed deals. Those do not haunt me. What haunts me is smaller. The Tuesday evening, I was too tired to help my daughter with her project. The birthday I missed, because of a work trip that did not matter. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to miss their life. They just keep choosing the urgent thing over the important thing again and again, until one day they look up and realize how much time has passed. Stop doing that. I am asking you, as someone who has done it and lived long enough to see the full cost of it, stop doing that. I am 78 years old. I wake up some mornings and the first thing I am aware of is that I have less time ahead of me than behind me. That is not a sad thought anymore. It is just true. And the clarity is this: none of it was worth what I gave up. Not the career, not the status, not a single achievement. None of it was worth the missed years with my children. None of it was worth the silence I let grow between myself and my father until it was permanent. I would trade it all for one more Sunday with my kids when they were small, one more honest conversation with my father, one more year of being fully present in my own life. Here is what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not when things slow down. Today, call someone you have been meaning to call. Say the thing you have been meaning to say. Book the trip you have been postponing. Stop treating your relationships like something you will invest in when you have more time. The people you love are not something you can defer. They are the whole point. They have always been the whole point. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop saving your best self for someday. Start now. Not because life is short, because it is exactly as long as it is, and you are spending it right now, in this moment, whether you mean to or not. I waited my whole life to understand this. I almost waited too long. Do not wait as long as I did. The clock is running. It has been running this whole time. What you do today is your life. Not the plan for your life. Not the preparation for your life. This is it, right now. Do not let it pass while you are getting ready for it. If this reached you, leave a comment. Tell me one thing you have been putting off, and then go do it.